Hello and welcome to the SJL Young Reporter 2019. I'm Kate Robinson.
And I'm Stanley Scott. Our first story is about the rapid increase of knife crime in the UK.
I'm Francesca Lister.
And I'm Oscar Ryan, and we are reporting on the increase of knife crime in the UK. In recent years, Britain has seen a rise in knife crime, with London seeing remarkable increases in stabbings. In 2018, 35% of all knife crimes recorded occurred in London, and the number of offences that involve knives or sharp objects increased by 8% to almost 40,000 in comparison to nearly 37,000 offences recorded in the previous year.
One incident in Greater Manchester took place on Saturday evening of the 2nd of March. A 17-year-old Yusuf Galab Maki was stabbed to death in Hale Barnes village located near Altrincham. On the following Tuesday, an anonymous 17-year-old boy was charged with Yusuf's murder as well as the possession of a bladed weapon.
This is a student from Sir John Law School who is willing to share his opinion on knife crime in the UK. So, how do you feel about the increase of stabbings?
I feel it's a very sad aspect because I feel like young people have no choice but to carry protection with them because of the life they live in, because the people they are around. So I feel like it's genuinely, it's very upsetting, especially since there's been such a rise, in knife crime.
So, do you think that the increase of stabbing, does that scare you, or around in the UK?
Yeah, it's quite a scary concept. It's increasing, and it's really quite a lot. Anyway, it makes me feel a bit nervous when I go out.
Now, back to the studio.
Thank you. Our next story is about Donald Trump meeting Kim Jong-un over nuclear diplomacy.
Hi, I'm James, and today we're going to be reporting on the USA and North Korea relations, and more specifically the latter rebuilding one of their satellite launch pads. New satellite images have been released showing that Kim Jong-un is trying to rebuild their launch sites that are designed for satellites but could be used for nuclear endeavours. The actions are controversial due to peace conferences between the US and North Korea trying to denuclearise the dictatorship. And now we cross over to one of our correspondents for an interview with Mr. Newbury.
Do you think North Korea poses a threat to us?
I think North Korea potentially poses a threat to global politics, but I think both leaders of the US, which has got obviously the biggest involvement with North Korea, and the leader of North Korea himself, both are playing political games that potentially could spiral out of their own control. So I think at the moment it's still at a game playing stage, but I do worry about the connotations that could have going forward.
Thank you, and on that nuclear bombshell, back to the studio.
Thank you. Our next story is a local story based on children without a secondary school to go to in September.
Hello, my name is Cameron Anglo Smith. Just recently, parents all over the county have gotten news of which secondary school their child will be attending, but for some, a problem has arisen. 189 pupils in St Albans and Harpenden have left without an assigned place at a secondary school ready for September. I've come to Sir John Law School in Harpenden to ask teachers on their opinion on the matter.
I think that there being 189 students without a secondary school place is a terrible situation, but it's not necessarily a surprising one. I think that this is something that's been coming for a while.
Why do you think so many students have been left without any choice?
The reason this has come about it's been a few things. Number one, we've relied on just making class sizes bigger for too long. So the initial response to there being sort of like a boost in student population is just to say, well, you just put more students in each class. A lot of schools just aren't designed for the number of children they've got. They're old buildings that have been retrofitted to take on more children.
According to Herts County Council, of the 14,714 children in the county who applied this year, 75% gained a place at their first school and 93% gained a place at one of their choices on their list.
The only real solution that I can see from a teacher's point of view is to build more schools. But they're very expensive buildings. Schools aren't an office where you can just go start at the bottom and build it up. They need a certain square footage of outdoor space. They need potentially a playing field. Their footprint is massive. So trying to find big enough spaces with the local infrastructure and road structures to accommodate those schools is really tough.
Thank you. Time for our entertainment story about Kylie Jenner becoming the youngest self-made billionaire.
Hello, my name is Estella Verco.
And I'm Ruby Barwell, and we are reporting on how Kylie Jenner became the world's youngest self-made billionaire. Kylie Jenner has supposedly made most of her money through her multi-million-dollar company, Kylie Cosmetics. However, I would question whether the company would be worth as much if it wasn't her name behind the business. Therefore, can she really be given the title of self-made if the basis of her fortune is the name she was given at birth?
However, she has also worked incredibly hard to get where she is today. Her incredible work ethic has kept her at the top.
So, do you know who Kylie Jenner is?
I've kind of heard of her from like social media stuff.
So, do you know who Kylie Jenner is?
Yeah, like vaguely.
And like whereabouts have you heard her from?
I know of her makeup brand and I've seen her on TV.
So if I were to tell you she's a billionaire, would you say she deserves that?
She's obviously worked like really hard for it, so then I guess she does deserve it. But she's quite young and she could like give that money to like charities and stuff.
What is your opinion on Kylie Jenner?
I mean, I'm not her biggest fan. However, you can't dispute the fact that she has been successful and, you know, she's obviously made lots of money, but I don't necessarily agree with how she's made said money. I think anyone that's just living in the public eye and just, you know, providing this unrealistic, constructed world that so many kind of teenage girls are accessing through social media, you know, I don't particularly agree with that. So I don't necessarily have a high opinion of her, let's say that.
Thanks, Ruby. Now it's time for a sports update.
Hello, I'm Luke Tynan. In sports this week, Real Madrid have crashed out the Champions League, losing 4-1 to Ajax. Tottenham have defeated Dortmund 1-0 with a goal scored by Harry Kane early on in the second half. Later on today, Manchester United go to Paris for the return fixture facing a 2-0 deficit. In other football news, the English women's team were victorious in the She Believes Cup last night, winning 3-0 against rivals Japan. And for rugby, Wales are at the top of the Six Nations table with 12 points. However, England and Ireland sit close behind on 10 and 9 points respectively. We spoke to teachers and football fans from Sir John Lawes School in Harpenden, following up from the busy sports week.
Tottenham have been successful in this year's Champions League. How far do you think they'll go?
Well, I think we've got a very good chance. Obviously, I hope we can win it. I think we can win it. I think any of the teams in the last 8 have always got a chance over 2 legs. I think we've proved ourselves this year. We've come out of a very difficult group. Had Barcelona in it, Inter Milan. We went to Barcelona, didn't get beaten. We just knocked out the best team in Germany, 4-0 across 2 legs. Can't be sneered at. Real Madrid are gone. Barcelona are wobbling. I think it'll probably be a Spurs City final, and then we'll beat them and win it. So it'll be a good year.
Considering Liverpool reached the final last season, do you think they can beat Bayern in Germany and reach the final again this season?
Yeah, I do. I think last time when we played at Anfield, it may have been 0-0, but we showed good signs, good play, and I think we can beat them in Bayern. And I think we can go all the way and win this year.
At Sir John Lawes, are girls given the same opportunities as boys in sport?
So the female department is SJL is massive, and the girls themselves have a wide variety of sports. So they have chance to after school clubs and lunchtime clubs and loads of fixtures. So the range is from basketball, football, lacrosse, netball, hockey, gymnastics, dance. So they have a broad variety of things that they can either start to get into and develop their skills, which hopefully they can further develop from joining clubs outside of school. So we have that foundation range for them to start to develop their knowledge and interests, and hopefully they can build up on. So a good starting block, and then we have they go up the school, we can again start to develop more further skills both in PE and extracurricular clubs. So SJL do a lot for starting to build that participation rates.
And lastly, time for a feel-good story about Pancake Day.
Hi, I'm Oscar Roberts. Yesterday marks the anniversary of a quaint 600-year-old tradition in England. Once a year on Shrove Tuesday, the people of England run a race with pancakes and pans, one of which started 1445 in Olney, Buckinghamshire. This yearly race can only be ran by women 18 or older that had lived in the town for over 3 months. Its origins vary, but the most believed story is of a woman who was running late to church who was going to make pancakes for her fellow villagers, so had to run through the marketplace with the only pancakes she was able to make in the morning. Today also marks the beginning of Lent, the beginning of the 40-day countdown towards Easter. So what are you giving up for Lent? Back to you in the studio.
That's it from us at SJL. Thanks for watching.